Hi everyone, let's keep moving with our Google Ads course. I'm gonna talk to you about bidding strategies. I'm not gonna bore you with those dry as dust help docs everyone else drones on about. I'm giving you the real world stuff, the 99% you actually need to know. First thing you've gotta watch out for. If you're watching some guy who calls himself a pro, but he's showing you how to set bids in the web interface, kill the video. That person's a total fraud. No real pro uses the web UI. We're all about Google Ads Editor. We'll jump into it in a second, but just so you get why, I'll briefly show you what switching strategies looks like in the browser. We click the gear icon in the campaign we're interested in. Open the bidding section. I'll scroll down a bit. If I hit Change Bid Strategy, I can open the drop-down and pick one. But this view only shows up for us because we previously chose a manual strategy when we created the campaign in Google Ads Editor. I'm gonna click Get Guidance selecting a bid strategy to show you what it looks like for the newbies who set up their ads right here. If I open the list under What do you want to focus on, it's a total mess. If you aren't a pro and start clicking around here, you're gonna get lost 100% of the time. Don't take my word for it, try it yourself. Look, to understand how bidding strategies work, you don't strictly have to use Ads Editor. You could do it all here. But I'm gonna show it in the editor because everything is way more visual there. When we choose a bidding strategy here, we hit this little pencil icon and all the different options pop up. They're all right in front of us. When you are creating a new campaign, you might see even more options, but the system will give you a red error if you try to pick something that doesn't fit. Like you can't use target CPM for search campaigns. What we have here are the main bidding strategies. And we're gonna walk through them right now. See? Everything is in one place, right in your face. No complicated, confusing toggles like in the web UI. Plus, it's super easy to do this in bulk if you've got a ton of campaigns. Bottom line, Google Ads Editor is the GOAT. I'm not just gonna go top to bottom. I'm gonna explain it in a logical order. First up is manual bidding. From the course, you know we always push new campaigns with manual CPC. That's the only way we can see the recommended bids for every keyword based on our targeting. And we see them for different positions. Later on, you'll move to automated strategies. And I'm about to tell you exactly which one fits your specific case. I'll add two more things about manual CPC. First, if you launched an ad on this strategy and it's pulling in great results, leave it alone. Don't change a thing. Our number one rule is don't break what's working. Second, in some campaigns, manual CPC isn't even an option. If that happens, pick one of the available ones based on what I'm about to tell you regarding the other types. The others are the automated ones. There's only one manual strategy, but there are plenty of automated ones. Also, enhanced CPC should be disabled here. This feature isn't supported anymore. It's only still there, so people who set up their ads a long time ago can see it and turn it off. If we pick Enabled and hit OK, we might see a critical error. If we go back in and shut it off, the error disappears. I'm opening the bidding window again and let's move on to the automated types. Let's follow the logic. When you've just built a campaign, the first place you should probably start is maximize clicks. I should make a quick note here. We upload the campaign on manual CPC, just to see the real bids for every keyword. But the actual launch can be done on maximize clicks. Since you've already seen those real bids, you can set a cap on the max cost per click based on real data, not just a gut feeling. I showed you all of this in the bidding lesson. So right here in the maximum CPC bid limit, I can type in an actual conscious number instead of just guessing. If you set it too high, you might waste cash. If it's too low, your ads might not even show up, but you didn't skip the previous lessons, so you know exactly what to put here for your specific case. Keep enhanced CPC disabled. It's not supported for new campaigns. By the way, you don't have to limit the max cost per click at all. You can leave it blank. Just be ready for a potential overspend, because Google really loves your money. Someone might tell you that maximize clicks is just getting hits or trash traffic. Again, there are two possibilities. Either your ad setup is garbage, wrong location, not enough negative keywords, and yeah, you'll burn through your budget. But what's the point of this strategy? There are times, and I bet some of you have seen this, where you've done everything right, but there are 0 impressions. Nothing. In that case, it makes sense to switch to maximize clicks. You can even skip the bid cap, even though your budget will fly away fast. Just set a small daily limit, maybe $20 or $50, whatever you're okay with spending just to wake the campaign up. After that, the next step is usually maximize conversions. There are a few nuances here. Nuance number 1. Why did we start with maximize clicks anyway? We gathered stats, did the math, saw what our average cost per conversion looks like, and now we can actually estimate what price we want to see moving forward. Because if you just pull a target price out of thin air, it might be too low, and you'll get 0 results, or it'll be way too high. Also, at the start, you don't even have to set a target CPA, just hit OK and move on. If you can't start on manual or maximize clicks, go with maximize conversions without setting a target price, then tweak it later if you need to. That was the first point. Now for the second. It's about how your conversions are set up. For example, you might be willing to pay $10 or $500 per conversion depending on the niche. But sometimes conversions are set up so they aren't real conversions. To me, a real conversion is when a potential client reaches out. It's when someone leaves their number, fills out a form or calls. That's a real conversion. But I've seen setups where a site has a 100% conversion rate. Like how? Well, the conversion is triggered just because someone landed on the site. Boom, conversion. It's super important that your conversions are tracked correctly, otherwise this whole strategy is useless. The big win with automated conversion strategies is that Google tweaks the bid for every single user based on their behavior patterns. If Google knows this person actually fills out forms a lot, the bid for that specific user will be higher, and you'll show up in a top spot for them. For the people who just click around and never buy, the cost will be minimal. You just can't do that with manual bids. Now, about target CPA. You're still paying for clicks either way, and setting a $50 target doesn't mean every conversion will cost exactly that. In our bidding lesson, I explained that if you know your target lead cost and your site's conversion rate, you can calculate the average click price that works for you. You know that info traffic converts worse, so you set a lower bid for it, but you end up with roughly the same cost per lead. The math stays the same. I use different examples in that lesson, but the logic is identical. Now that you've got that foundation, it's easy to see what happens when you enter a target CPA. Google is just doing the same math we did manually. That said, maximize conversions isn't always the best choice, but if you're using it and getting good results, stay there, don't break what's working. Moving on, target CPA. It is basically the same as the last one, but here you have to set a target price. If you set a $50 target in either one, they'll work exactly the same. But there is one difference. Here you can choose pay for conversions. It's disabled for me right now, but it works on the display network. You can test it out if you want. We already covered the display network lessons. Next up is maximize conversion value. I always test this for online stores. If you're running a service business like in our example, this strategy is pretty much useless. Here's how it works. When a conversion happens in an e-commerce shop, we don't just tell Google, hey, a sale happened. We also tell it the exact dollar amount of that sale. It's actually really easy to set up. On Shopify, for example, it's just a couple of clicks. But we aren't talking about setup right now. When you're on maximize conversions, Google tries to give you as many sales as possible. But for a store, the total revenue matters more than the number of orders. So with maximize conversion value, Google cranks up the bids specifically for users who tend to spend more money. Usually when you switch to this, you get fewer conversions overall, but your total sales volume goes up. If you care about volume, maximize conversions will often push cheaper products that sell fast. If you care about the total cash, maximize conversion value tries to shift the budget towards the big ticket items. In real life, it's not always as pretty as it sounds, but that's the logic. The target ROAS parameter is huge here. You should always launch without setting anything here to give Google total freedom to test. ROAS is basically your return on ad spend. Simply put, how many dollars in revenue do we want for every dollar we spend on ads? Sometimes you can leave it blank. even after the launch. You'll get max reach and volume, but your profitability could be anything, even negative. That's aggressive market takeover mode. Personally, I like actually making money, not just taking over markets, so I only leave it blank at launch to give Google some room to move. Let's look at some examples to make it clear. 100% means for every dollar I spend, bring me $1 in revenue. Basically, you spend $200 on ads, you get $200 in sales. But you've also got the cost of the goods, shipping, salaries, taxes. That means you're losing money. It's rare, but I'm showing you how it works. 300% means for every dollar I put in, I want $3 back. That's the sweet spot for most businesses. Google starts filtering auctions. It'll look for users who are likely to spend a decent amount. But these numbers change depending on the niche and location. 1000% is just straight up greed. Like, give me $10 for every dollar I spend. Most of the time the campaign will just stall, because Google can't find those unicorn customers who are the cheap and that rich at the same time. So we play around with this number based on how much we want to sell and what our margins allow. Maybe your ROAS will be 275 or 380. It's all very individual. The target ROAS strategy works just like the last one. But here the target ROAS field is mandatory. And here's a super interesting one. Target impression share. This isn't usually about the money. It's about the flex. It's for when you need to show the world you're the market leader and always be in the top spot. Actually, this strategy lets you pick different spots, but let's go in order. Ad location, we can pick where we want to show up. Anywhere on results page means somewhere on the page, even at the very bottom. But why even use this strategy then? You'll probably show up there anyway. Top of results page is the top 4 under the search bar. Absolute top of results page. Now that's what I'm talking about. Below that, you pick what percentage of the time you want to hit that spot. You can write anything. 10, 50%. Obviously, if I want the top spot, I'm putting 100%. Why settle for 50%? That's whack. This strategy is mainly used to protect your brand name, making sure you're always above everyone else when people search for your business. It also works great in tiny niches where there isn't much traffic and you want to buy every single click possible. The top spot is usually pricey, so they make you set a max CPC limit. You base this on the real click costs you saw when you ran manual ads, and just how much you're psychologically ready to pay for a click in this specific campaign. Say $40. I always look at this from a business perspective. Imagine the scene. You need that top spot, and when you're talking to a client, you tell them, hey, I'm number 1. They look it up, and boom, there you are. Your firm or brand name is right at the top every single time. They're gonna think, wow, these guys are huge. There are searches that people don't do often, but when they do and they see you first, that's a branding play. It's psychology and it works. Let's wrap this up. Upload on manual CPC, launch on maximize clicks, then move to maximize conversions, then set a target CPA. But if you're happy with the results you're getting on any specific strategy, don't just test for the sake of testing. Don't break what's working and don't change a thing. Maximize conversion value and target ROAS are strictly for online stores. Target impression share is a strategy that most people just don't need. I've told you when it actually makes sense. I think I covered it pretty well. If that's the case, or if you still have questions, let me know in the comments under this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next lesson. Think bigger and make money.